Hey, we really need to flip District 1.
Yeah, we do.
But who has the ideas and ability to connect with people from Worcester County to Baltimore County?
I am so glad you asked. Welcome to Dishing with Dan, the podcast for Dan Schwartz for Congress. Each program in Dishing with Dan will be an opportunity to chat about what he will do for District 1 in Congress, why his plans are better for you than Andy Harris's. Dan's campaign is about connecting with folks throughout the district to make sure that his policy platform represents us, which is why he can win this important election. For District 1 listeners, we want to hear from you. You can email your questions to Dan at info@schwartzforcongress.com. And if you send your message as a voice recording, we can include it directly in the podcast. So let's start dishing with Dan. Dan Schwartz, so good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Wanda.
We have a couple listener questions to start with this week. These are from Tucker, a student at Harford Community College.
My question is regarding scientific research. Over the past year, we've seen the Trump administration gut funding for scientific research left and right. As an aspiring scientist, this is heartbreaking and worrying to see. What are your thoughts on this, and what actions would you be interested in taking to remedy this situation?
I'm really glad that Tucker asked that question. People like him who want to be in scientific careers should not be discouraged from doing so. And right now we are closing pathways to public health, to our environment, to make sure that we are staying on the cutting edge, both when it comes to the safety of our citizens and the safety of our world as a whole. We need our public health researchers. We need people who want to study soil sciences and go work for the USDA, and people who want to study the weather trends go to work for NOAA. And right now we are firing those people and making people in the United States, people here in this district, a lot less safe when it comes to water safety, food safety, the ability to have good data that our watermen and farmers can use to catch crabs and oysters or grow their crops. This all relies on us staying on the cutting edge as a country. When we flip the House, we need to make sure that we're prioritizing staffing the agencies where these scientists work. I've met people at NIH and people at agencies like FEMA who in some cases were fired, then hired, then refired multiple times.
Oh my goodness.
These efforts to slash the staff of many of these agencies and the targeting of scientists within those agencies were very short-sighted. We really need to do what we can to make sure that we are staying on the cutting edge by supporting scientists.
Tucker's second question hits on the power of special interests and big money in politics. Let's take a listen.
My question is regarding special interest groups that have their hands in, well, just about everything. From countries like Israel to oil and AI companies, it feels like the United States, from Congress to the media, is controlled by special interests, not the citizens and their elected officials. What are your thoughts on this issue, and do you have anything you'd like to see done about it?
I think there's a lot that we can do about it, and there's a lot that I can do as a candidate. There's a lot other candidates are doing to take a stand right now and to fund our campaigns with individual grassroots donations to shake off the influence of this special interest money by just saying no. Therefore, I've been clear on the campaign trail. I will not be taking money from corporate PACs. I will not be taking money from big oil. I will not be taking money from AIPAC. We don't need their money or their influence telling us how to vote in ways that are contrary to what the American people really care about right now. We cannot be beholden to special interests. And when we flip the House, we can work hard to get this special interest money out of our political system. We can overturn Citizens United. We can achieve some real significant campaign finance and election reform. And I think it's really a big priority of mine. So you'll hopefully see me receive the endorsements of groups like End Citizens United and PACs whose focus are ones in which I agree, but you will not see me taking the sort of corporate money that Congressman Harris relies on to fund his campaigns. He really relies on big corporate donors, whether they're in the health insurance space, pharmaceutical companies, big oil, APAC. You won't see that from me.
That's excellent to hear that you'll be working to overturn Citizens United. Listening to you speak, it occurred to me that young voters like Tucker have not experienced American political life without this just overwhelming influence of big money.
Yeah, and I think young people today are frustrated, and when they think that vote does not count, it's because of the influence that they see that these large, deep-pocketed donors or groups have on our political system. And it really shouldn't be that way. We would have better candidates running for office if we could get the dark money out.
Thank you, Tucker, for sending in your thoughtful and pertinent questions. Dan, the primary election is now less than 3 months away. How is the campaign going?
It's going great. Every day we are out on the trail in one of our 11 different counties or in multiple of them. And I'm increasingly getting into rooms where it's less friendly and there's less Democrats, more independent voters, more Republican voters. I was at the Harford County Farm Bureau dinner a couple weeks ago and just met so many great people. I realized, a really good place to meet people is in the drink line because you're stuck there. And just putting myself out there as a Democrat in rooms where Democrats are not always showing up. And I think that's been part of the problem for us. We make assumptions that certain groups of people or voters are going to vote for us instead of showing up in the rooms and listening and learning. So when I'm in a room like that, I'm talking to farmers about the issues they're experiencing. I'm talking to watermen, and I come away with having learned so much from the people that are actually doing this work and with some invitations to get out and really get a firsthand understanding of what it's like for these folks. I'm going to be going catfishing here in the next week or two with the really friendly watermen that I met at that event.
That sounds really cool. I'm curious, and I'll ask on behalf of the people that aren't in those rooms, what are the people you're talking with most concerned about with all the volatility? And volatility is probably the most polite word I can think of to describe what's been going on in the last couple of weeks that we're all facing right now. What are folks talking about and how are they responding?
When we're out on the campaign trail and we stop to get lunch somewhere, or we're stopping in at a gas station or in the grocery store getting snacks for campaign headquarters, people are wanting to talk to us when they know what we're doing. And people are really upset right now about the cost of everyday life and the increases that are happening given the war in Iran, the impact on the cost of gas and everyday goods that we need for our families is being felt by everyone. I'm feeling it driving everywhere across this district, putting gas in my car, just being shocked at how quickly I went from being able to fill my tank for $50 or so to now it's approaching $80. That's not affordable for anybody here who's relying on being able to fill up their tanks on a budget to get to work or to drop their kids off at school or take care of their loved ones, sometimes kind of far away in this largely rural district that we have. People drive a lot. So that's front of mind for people, and cost of groceries is front of mind. I'll tell you what's not front of mind for people. It's illegal aliens voting in our elections here in Maryland. And I bring this up because this is the focus of the GOP right now. Instead of doing anything to address rising healthcare costs for Marylanders, I've met folks in my district whose healthcare premiums just went up 2x or 3x just in the past couple months. Instead of doing anything to address that or the cost of groceries or gas, they are focused on meddling with the midterm elections by passing this Save America Act. And thankfully, we're seeing now that it does not have the votes in the Senate to pass. So it looks like this latest effort to protect themselves from a disastrous midterm election is failing. But this is a typical playbook that we see here when the GOP knows that their policies are not working for the American people. They distract, and we're seeing that right now with a push to pass a bill that will disenfranchise people. It won't be enough just to show your driver's license at the polls for many people. We'll have to renew passports, which costs money. It's essentially a poll tax, and all to attempt to solve a problem that even the Heritage Foundation knows doesn't exist. Their own data showed, I think, less than 30 instances of illegal migrants voting in our elections in the past 20 plus years. Here in Maryland, you have to have an ID to register to vote. And if you show up and you say you're someone who you're not and you vote under a different name, that is a felony and you will be prosecuted for it. This is an attempt to distract the American people from the fact that these guys have failed in every single way in their policy agenda.
It's absolutely a distraction, but it's also something that all women who, especially married women, whether they're Republican or independent or Democrat, it's hard not to have a little inkling of worry. If you've changed your name, where is my birth certificate? Do I have to take my marriage certificate off the wall in my hallway to register to vote? It's pretty unnerving.
Yeah, this is something that any American should see for what it is, an attempt to disenfranchise women and regular everyday Americans from going to express their dissatisfaction with this administration at the polls.
There are so many issues that people are thinking about, and I know that a lot of people hearing that you're running for Congress and there's a chance to unseat Andy Harris, have questions for you and want to meet you. Where will you be campaigning over the next week so that people know where to come say hi to you and hear more about your platform?
Thanks, Wanda. We've got so many different events coming up and opportunities for people all over the district to come out, hang out with us, grab a drink, eat some good food, and talk about how we're going to work ourselves out of the mess that we're in as a country right now. So coming up on the 28th, we'll be speaking at several of the No Kings events in Cecil County in Northeast, and also later in that same day in Harford County. A couple days later, we have a meet and greet in a home in Easton, Maryland, in Talbot County, where I live. The day after, the 31st, will be in Stevensville on Kent Island at the Colt Classic Brewery for a Queen Anne's County Indivisible meeting. On the 1st of April, there's a Harford County Candidate Forum. And then on the 3rd of the month, we'll be at the First Friday festivities in Chestertown.
Excellent.
Whether you're able to come out to one of our upcoming events or not, we are right now in the process of building what needs to be a very large volunteer program. And we're starting to generate the resources that our volunteers will need to be knocking on doors up and down the district, to be helping us on the phones and helping in so many other ways. Ultimately, after the primary, we're going to be staffing up that volunteer operation and have likely 4 or 5 regional offices where volunteers will be able to come together and kind of base their work out of. So if you'd be interested in helping us out in any way, you can go to my website, schwartzforcongress.com. There is an option to express your interest to volunteer, and then we'll be in touch. And I appreciate your patience if you've reached out looking to volunteer. We are working hard to make sure that we have the resources ready to go for volunteers when they get started.
Thank you, Dan. I think that's the program for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you have a question or comment that you'd like us to include in Dishing with Dan, please send your audio file or email to info@schwartzforcongress.com. And please subscribe and share Dishing with Dan with your friends and family. This will help Dan connect with more people throughout District 1 and strengthen his campaign. It is possible to beat Andy Harris. Dan Schwartz is the candidate who can do it. We all need to work together to make it happen.
Thanks so much, Wanda. Excited to keep the conversation going.
Thank you, Dan. This is Wanda Boker, producer and host, signing off for Dishing with Dan.